Well, Bruce Willis dropped in the other day.
And now Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
You are so cool, you know, you are really cool.
Bruce Willis, the beloved star of Die Hard, The Sixth Sense, and countless other iconic films, has been at the center of devastating updates that have left fans around the world in shock and heartbreak. Known for his stoic charm, tough guy roles, and unforgettable screen presence, Bruce is now facing a personal battle that is more difficult than anything he's ever portrayed on screen. In March 2022, Bruce Willis's family made the difficult decision to publicly share that he had been diagnosed with aphasia, a condition that affects his ability to communicate. This marked the end of his legendary acting career. Just months later, in February 2023, that diagnosis was updated. Bruce was confirmed to be suffering from frontotemporal dementia, FTD, a rare and aggressive brain disorder that affects behavior, personality, and language. This news stunned the world, and the implications were even more heartbreaking than anyone could have imagined. FTD is not just memory loss. It is a progressive degenerative disease with no known cure. It gradually robs a person of their ability to speak, understand language, and ultimately function independently. For someone like Bruce Willis, who was once the epitome of action, charisma, and quick wit, this diagnosis is devastating. According to close friends and family, Bruce is now struggling with daily life, often confused and unable to recognize people he's known for years. His wife, Emma Hemming Willis, has taken on the role of full-time caregiver, dedicating her life to ensuring Bruce is surrounded by love, comfort, and dignity in these difficult days. She has been open about the emotional toll this has taken on the family, describing the grief of watching someone you love slowly fade away before your eyes. Even more heartbreaking is the toll this has taken on his daughters. Rumer, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn have been rallying around their father, trying to create lasting memories while there is still time. Rumer, his eldest, recently became a mother, and it's been revealed that Bruce's condition has made it difficult for him to fully comprehend the joy of becoming a grandfather. The contrast is cruel. New life beginning, while his is slowly being claimed by disease. While Bruce Willis may no longer be in the spotlight, his legacy continues to shine brightly. Fans across the globe have come together to share memories, tributes, and messages of love. Hashtags like "Keep Bruce Strong" and "Thank You Bruce" have flooded social media. Former co-stars like Demi Moore, John Travolta, and Samuel L. Jackson have spoken out in support, expressing their sorrow and admiration for the man who brought so much life to the screen. But despite the love, despite the tributes, the reality remains deeply painful. Bruce Willis is slowly being silenced by a cruel and irreversible disease. The man who once saved hostages in Nakatomi Plaza, outsmarted villains, and delivered iconic one-liners, now lives in a world where words are fading, memories are slipping, and time is cruelly ticking away. This is not just a celebrity tragedy, it's a human one. It's a reminder of how fragile life is, and how even our strongest heroes are not immune to the devastating reach of disease. Our thoughts, prayers, and hearts go out to Bruce Willis and his family during this incredibly difficult time. May he find peace, love, and comfort in the presence of those who adore him most. And may we never forget the gift he gave us through decades of unforgettable performances. It was a day no fan was ready for. The world had grown up watching Bruce Willis jump from exploding buildings, trade bullets with terrorists, and outwit ghosts in dead silence. But on March 30th, 2022, the legend who had made us laugh, cry, and cheer through more than 4 decades of cinematic brilliance was silenced, not by a villain on screen, but by something far more cruel. Bruce Willis's family released a joint statement that broke the internet and left Hollywood in mourning. The action icon had been diagnosed with aphasia, a brain condition that affects a person's ability to speak and understand language. It was devastating news, and worse, it meant Bruce was stepping away from acting for good. The man who had powered through everything from Die Hard to Pulp Fiction was now facing a battle unlike any before. For fans who had admired his toughness, his sarcasm, his iconic smirk, this was unthinkable. But what many didn't realize at the time was that aphasia was just the beginning. Behind the scenes, his condition was already progressing. and in ways that no one, not even his family, could have fully predicted. In the months that followed, questions began to swirl. Was it a temporary condition? Could it improve with therapy? Had Bruce really retired forever? And then came the second, even more devastating announcement in February 2023. The diagnosis had changed. Bruce wasn't just battling aphasia, he had frontotemporal dementia, or FTD. Unlike Alzheimer's, FTD attacks the brain's frontal and temporal lobes, leading to extreme personality shifts, speech problems, and severe behavioral changes. There's no cure, no treatment, just time and the painful unraveling of a man's mind. For someone like Bruce, who built his life on words, timing, charisma, and presence, the diagnosis was not just a health crisis. It was a cruel erasure of everything he had been. Behind the cameras, Bruce was already forgetting scripts, struggling to communicate with co-stars, and becoming increasingly withdrawn. Directors had started simplifying his scenes. Editors were cutting around his struggles. But the truth was now impossible to hide. Bruce Willis was fading away before our eyes. His wife, Emma Hemming Willis, and his ex-wife, Demi Moore, both of whom have remained close, stood side by side to break the news to the public. Their message was heartbreaking but dignified. They wrote, "Bruce has always found joy in life and has helped everyone he knows to do the same. It means the world to us to see that sense of care being extended to him now." Behind those words was a tidal wave of grief. Emma, who had been married to Bruce since 2009, had taken on the role of full-time caregiver, shielding him from the press and making sure his daughters could be near him in these precious remaining years. Rumor, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn, his 5 daughters, were watching their once vibrant father retreat into a world none of them could reach. For them, this wasn't about losing a celebrity. It was about losing Dad. Sources close to the family revealed that Bruce often wakes up confused. He sometimes doesn't recognize faces. There are days when his speech is nearly unintelligible. He rarely leaves the house now. The man who used to light up red carpets and movie sets now lives in the shadows, surrounded by his loved ones, but isolated by a disease that no one, not even the man who once defeated every on-screen enemy, can overcome. It's a silent battle, fought moment by moment, and it's the most heartbreaking role Bruce has ever taken on. Long before he became an international action icon, Bruce Willis was just a kid from West Germany. Born in Idar Oberstein in 1955 to a German mother and an American soldier father, Bruce's early life was far from glamorous. The family relocated to New Jersey when he was just 2 years old. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood, Bruce was no stranger to hardship. He developed a severe stutter as a child, which made him an easy target for bullies. Ironically, it was this speech impediment that pushed him toward acting. He discovered that when he stepped on stage, the stutter disappeared. In front of an audience, he found his voice. That spark would grow into a flame that would one day set Hollywood ablaze. Before the fame, Bruce worked odd jobs to make ends meet. He was a security guard, a bartender, and even a private investigator, roles that later shaped his gritty on-screen persona. But it was 1985 that changed everything. Cast as David Addison in the TV series Moonlighting, Bruce exploded onto the scene with his trademark wit, charisma, and that mischievous glint in his eye. The chemistry between him and Sybil Shepherd was electric, and audiences couldn't get enough. Suddenly, the former bartender was a primetime heartthrob. Then came 1988. One film, one role, Die Hard. And just like that, Bruce Willis wasn't just a TV star anymore. He was John McClane, the everyman hero we didn't know we needed. With bloodied feet and a machine gun in hand, Bruce redefined what it meant to be an action star. He wasn't invincible, he was vulnerable. He was sarcastic, stubborn, bruised, and terrified. And because of that, he was real. Die Hard didn't just make Bruce a household name, it immortalized him. Over the next 3 decades, Bruce would appear in over 100 films, many of them defining a generation. Pulp Fiction, The Fifth Element, The Sixth Sense, Armageddon, Unbreakable, Red. His resume reads like a history of modern cinema. But beneath the tough exterior, Bruce was also deeply artistic and emotionally intelligent.
He played blues harmonica, released albums, and valued his privacy fiercely.
He was never the typical Hollywood celebrity. He stayed grounded, kept his circle tight, and lived for his family. Even during his wildest years, he never lost sight of what truly mattered. Those who knew Bruce behind the scenes describe a man who was fiercely loyal, deeply protective of his loved ones, and always quick with a joke. He could command a room with silence or fill it with laughter. He was the type to prank his co-stars, then offer heartfelt advice when the cameras weren't rolling. His long-standing friendship with actors like John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, and Demi Moore reflected the kind of man he was, one who formed deep bonds and stood by them. And when he remarried in 2009 to Emma Hemming, a model and entrepreneur 23 years his junior, Bruce seemed more content than ever. Together they had 2 daughters, and Bruce often said that fatherhood later in life gave him a second chance at everything he thought he'd already experienced. But that's what makes this current tragedy even more gut-wrenching. Because Bruce wasn't just slowing down, he was thriving. He had found peace, stability, and purpose. He was enjoying family barbecues, doting on his daughters, planning new projects. And now, all of that has been snatched away by an illness that doesn't care about legacies. Dementia doesn't discriminate between the ordinary and the extraordinary. It strips away identity piece by piece. It takes away the man, even as the body remains. And for Bruce, a man whose entire life was built on presence, timing, and voice, it's the cruelest fate imaginable. As his world shrinks, his family continues to expand their love. They've adjusted their lives completely to care for him. They limit visitors. They play old songs he loved. They show him photos of old film sets. Sometimes he responds. Other times he just stares into the distance. But they keep trying, because Bruce gave the world everything. And now, those who love him most are giving it all back. While the world watches from a distance, heartbroken by Bruce Willis's fading light. The real weight of this tragedy is borne quietly behind closed doors, by the family who loves him more than any box office number or red carpet ever could. At the center of this emotional storm stands Emma Hemming Willis, his wife of over 16 years. Once a model and businesswoman known for her grace and elegance, Emma has now become Bruce's primary caregiver, his protector, and his daily lifeline. Caring for a loved one with frontotemporal dementia isn't just physically exhausting, it's emotionally devastating. The man she once shared laughter, parenting, and late-night conversations with is now often silent or confused. Some days are better than others, but as the disease progresses, those good days become fewer, and the moments of clarity become increasingly rare. In a tearful interview, Emma admitted, "It's hard knowing that he's here, but also slipping away. There's grief in the middle of life, and it never leaves." Their home life has completely transformed. Daily routines revolve around Bruce's care. Everything, from lighting to sound to visitors, must be carefully managed. He no longer attends public events. Crowds and noise agitate him. He often forgets what day it is. Sometimes he forgets who's in the room, but the family remains steadfast. Their mission is not to cure what can't be cured, but to preserve his dignity, surround him with familiarity, and love him through the fog of confusion. Emma has even taken to social media, not to ask for sympathy, but to raise awareness about FTD and the silent agony caregivers endure. "This is bigger than Bruce," she wrote. "It's about every family going through this invisible heartbreak." One of the most moving aspects of Bruce's story is how his blended family has come together. Demi Moore, Bruce's ex-wife and longtime friend, has become a rock of support, proving that love can evolve, endure, and still hold power even after divorce. Demi spends time with Bruce regularly and participates in major family milestones. This unity is rare in Hollywood, and it speaks volumes about the depth of respect and affection they all share. Their adult daughters, Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah, have been profoundly affected. Rumor, who just welcomed her first child, shared how heartbreaking it is that her father may never fully grasp that he's now a grandfather. "It's cruel," she said. "He would have been the most doting granddad." "I know it. The younger daughters, Mabel and Evelyn, are still in their formative years, watching their father change before their eyes, trying to understand why some days he's present, and others, a ghost." Emma tries to shelter them from the worst of it. But how do you protect a child from the slow disappearance of someone they adore? The Willis home has become a quiet battlefield where love fights daily against loss. There are photos on the walls from Bruce's heyday, Die Hard premieres, birthday parties, beach vacations. Emma plays his old music, hoping it triggers a smile or a flicker of recognition. And sometimes it does. Other times he just stares ahead, as if the man who once held the world's attention is now trapped somewhere unreachable. It's in these quiet, agonizing moments that the world's perception of Bruce Willis must shift. Yes, he was a movie star, a Hollywood legend. But now, he is a husband, a father, a patient, and a man slowly vanishing while those who love him hold on as tightly as they can. The media often glamorizes celebrity illness, but dementia isn't glamorous. It's ugly. It steals joy, twists memory, and leaves loved ones grasping for remnants of the person they once knew. For the Willis family, every day is a lesson in patience, resilience, and grief. They are mourning a man who is still alive, but they continue to share his journey, not for attention, but in hope. Hope that more people will understand this disease. Hope that others battling FTD will feel less alone. And hope that, even in silence, Bruce still feels the love that surrounds him. Because in the end, what defines Bruce Willis isn't just the movies or the fame. It's the strength he showed in life, and the strength his family now shows for him. As Bruce Willis continues his quiet battle with frontotemporal dementia, the question that lingers in the hearts of fans and family alike is simple. How do you say goodbye to someone who's still here? The answer, it seems, lies not in mourning what is being lost, but in fiercely remembering everything that was. Because Bruce Willis may no longer walk the red carpet or deliver iconic one-liners, but his legacy, both on-screen and off, is immortal. His name is etched into the golden history of Hollywood, not just for the explosions, the heroics, or the box office records, but because of the man he was when the cameras stopped rolling. A man who laughed loudly, loved deeply, and lived with a kind of authenticity that made even his most outrageous characters feel real. Bruce never chased the spotlight. He commanded it, and now, in the shadows of illness, that light is being carried by those who knew him best. In living rooms and movie theaters around the world, his films continue to play. Die Hard is still a Christmas tradition. The Sixth Sense still stuns first-time viewers. Pulp Fiction still shocks, and Armageddon still brings tears. Bruce gave us moments. Moments that stitched themselves into our memories and helped define generations of moviegoers. And beyond the screen, his philanthropic work, his loyalty to friends, and his unwavering devotion to family told the story of a man far greater than the sum of his roles. Those closest to him say Bruce's greatest pride wasn't Hollywood. It was being a dad, a husband, a protector. That's the version of him his daughters will remember, long after the headlines fade. But even as the world honors his contributions, the reality is sobering. Frontotemporal dementia is relentless. There will be no comeback, no miracle recovery. The disease will continue to claim more of Bruce's speech, his motor skills, his ability to recognize even those he loves most. It is a future filled with uncertainty and heartbreak. Yet in the face of that, the Willis family is choosing grace. They're choosing to celebrate small victories, a smile, a laugh, a brief moment of clarity. They're choosing to honor him not with sorrow, but with strength. Because that's how Bruce lived. That's what he would want. The outpouring of love from fans has not gone unnoticed. Social media campaigns, tribute videos, fan art, and handwritten letters have flooded the family's inboxes. The hashtag #BruceStrong has become a global symbol of solidarity. Former co-stars, directors, and longtime friends have shared their memories and heartbreak. John Travolta called Bruce one of the most genuine souls I've ever known. Samuel L. Jackson said, "He gave everything to every role and every friendship." And Demi Moore, in a moment of raw honesty, wrote, "We spent years building a life. Now, we're spending years letting go, but with love. Letting go." That's the quiet pain woven into every breath of this journey. But Bruce's story doesn't end in silence. It ends in impact, in the millions of lives he touched, in the family who refuses to let him be defined by disease, in the laughter he gave us, the tears he drew from us, and the strength he still inspires in us. Illness may have dimmed the man, but it can't touch the legend. Bruce Willis will live forever in the frames of film, in the echoes of his gravelly voice, and in the hearts of those who grew up believing that if John McClane could survive Nakatomi Plaza, then maybe we could survive anything too. So tonight, If you find yourself scrolling through channels and The Fifth Element appears, or you hear the haunting whispers of "I see dead people," or you stumble upon a clip of Bruce playing harmonica in some smoky bar, pause for a moment. Remember the man, the artist, the father, the husband, and know that while his words may fade, his legacy never will.